Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the train station. Whether you've been around a while or you're new here, I'm going to introduce myself. I am A Train, the host of this wonderful podcast. Before I get into it, make sure that you like the video, you subscribe to the channel, you hit that bell and you check out all my other videos. This is episode 27. I have about 30 videos up on the channel. They're all great content. Me and my buddies talk about a lot of stuff. Sometimes I talk about things by myself, but a lot of great content on the channel. Make sure to check that out. Like I said, hit the bell, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button on the video. Help me grow this thing and become, even better than what I'm doing now. I mentioned that this would be a big week for content, and I wasn't kidding. I'm giving you this video now, and then later this week, before I get in, I'll talk more about it at the end, but it's a big uh, weekend for video content with the holidays coming up. I'm trying to get out as much content as I possibly can. So it's been a while since I talked about it, and I just kind of wanted to bring it back up because I enjoy talking about it and just watching and noticing the things that have been going on. I've seen a bigger problem than what they've done, but you're probably confused. It's okay. I'm talking about Manchester United. A few weeks ago, they they sacked, would be the correct term in football or soccer. They sacked their manager, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Man United legend, who took over the club after they have been struggling to appoint managers that are competent, and he comes in and he inherits a very bad team. A team that, didn't really have an identity, didn't really have any great young players, or at least they did, but they weren't getting playing time. And he came in, he did a good thing. Unfortunately for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think that he kind of reached his peak. Last year they finished second in the Premier League, which was incredible. Nobody expected them to even be there. And then this season, he was looking to boost off of that, and I think trying to boost off of that, he kind of hurt himself and ended up getting to his firing, which, again, I will get into in just a moment. But as a Man United legend, he will always be welcome as a club. Once you're Manchester, you're always Manchester United. That's how it goes. So as a former player and as a person, as a manager, while I'm so happy he's gone. I've been calling for his head for a while now. There was only so much he could do. Like I said, he inherited a very bad team, and then he gave up. He tried to bring that team to the next level, but just wasn't able to. He came in and he did exactly what he was supposed to do. He was a fantastic manager in the time, but now they need to find somebody to get the team to the next level. He gave the young guys a chance, guys like Marcus Rashford, Mason Greenwood, Anthony Martial, guys, Scott McTominay, guys like that. He gave a chance that most other managers probably wouldn't have even looked at or given a chance to. And he took the young guys. And I mean, you got Diallo, he just signed last season. He's got young guys that coming up through the ranks that nobody would, ever picture him signing, and he signed them. He figured out how to keep Paul Pogba happy for the meantime. Again, I'll have more on that situation as well. But yeah, so he came in, he had a plan, he executed the plan, and then just wasn't able to get over the hump. And so now they have to find another manager to come in and get him over the hump. Now, it wasn't bad, and he most definitely wasn't the only issue that Manchester United had, which is why I'm talking about it. They have a bigger issue, kind of a club legend, kind of a soccer legend or football legend is kind of the problem at the club right now, and I will explain it. But he was just kind of the scapegoat that had to go. While I wanted him to go, had he still been manager today, I wouldn't have an issue with it. I understand that he's probably the best manager they've had in a very long time, arguably probably since Sir Alex Ferguson. So it's very hard to see him go, but at the same time, it was needed. I don't know who's going to be appointed next. They just hired a guy on a short term. Not Michael Carrick, but he was the appointed intern, another former player, but somebody else. I don't think he'll be around. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what the new CEO's planning is. I don't follow other leagues that much outside of the Premier League and the MLS to really be able to know who's out there for them to target. So it's going to be interesting to see who the next manager is and how they go about things. But the real problem still remains. I don't know why I didn't talk about this earlier in the year, but Cristiano Ronaldo has returned to Manchester United. The 36-year-old who many consider the greatest of all time. In my mind, he is one of the greatest. He's not the greatest, but he's one of the greatest. Made his triumphant return to Manchester United from Juventus after there were reports he was going to go to City. And as great as Cristiano Ronaldo is, he has been an absolute giant thorn in Manchester. He has been the savior, but he has also been the problem. Let me explain. So the team had no identity, even still. Solskjaer tried to find the identity for him. He couldn't really do it. They were relying on a lot of young guys. And I really liked that they were trying something and they didn't really have an identity. But when Ronaldo came in, you kind of knew they were getting that Manchester United swagger back. They were getting their identity back, and everything was going to run through him. And I think that is where the problem lies, is everything runs through him. The man is 36 years old. While he's still in fantastic shape for a 36-year-old, he's basically the Tom Brady of, European football. He's just not going anywhere anytime soon. The man still probably has 7-8 years left of his career. He's just that in shape and that talented. He's going to play as long as he wants to. Much like Tom Brady, Brady's going to play as long as he wants to. Same situation here. At 36 years old, though, you cannot build your team around a 36-year-old, especially somebody like Cristiano Ronaldo, who, now that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been sacked, really raises questions about the kind of person that Cristiano Ronaldo is. At Juventus, when Cristiano Ronaldo first got to Juventus, he got his manager sacked. He had problems with the managers at Real Madrid. He had problems, the only one he didn't have problems with was Sir Alex Ferguson when he was in Manchester the first time. So, he's getting up to the point where he doesn't really care about anything but the Ronaldo and the Ronaldo brand, which at 36 years old, you're winding down to the end of your career. Okay, completely understandable. But I think this is kind of buyer's remorse in a way for Manchester United, as they have bought in him, and now he's been such a problem that, it's causing bigger issues that, that maybe people don't see up front. They're like, oh, Ronaldo, and yes, he has absolutely saved them in their group stage of the Champions League this year. He's done fantastic. He scored over 800 goals in his career. He's gotten that number against Arsenal last a couple of days ago. So he's scoring goals. He's doing what he was brought in to do. But the bigger picture here is the problems that it creates later on that the fans and nobody in the media really aren't talking. So Cristiano Ronaldo is the problem, and I'm going to say this. As I mentioned earlier, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did an amazing job of playing the younger talent. Cristiano Ronaldo comes in, him being a striker or a winger, wherever they want to put him, takes away from those talented young guys. Mason Greenwood plays on the wing. Anthony Martial is a striker or a winger, as with Rashford, and they just signed Jadon Sancho, who is also a winger. So it's like they're signing a bunch of guys to this position, and then you bring in Cristiano Ronaldo when you already have a bunch of guys at that position to figure it out. You can flip them in and out. It takes away time from the younger guys, and it stunts their development, and it's not exactly easy to get guys like that to go on loan with such a huge wage bill. Cristiano Ronaldo taking playing time away from them is stunting the future of Manchester United. How could you say that? He's 36 years old. He's an amazing. Yes, he's a great player, but I don't like the fact that he's taking away from younger players that could, step up and show that they have something. I mean, they spent $75 million bringing in Jadon Sancho. He finally scored. He's been struggling. Why has he been struggling? Because he hasn't really had the opportunity, because Cristiano Ronaldo and other guys are taking up that spot. And I know he's old. He's younger than Ronaldo, but he's also old. But I love me some Edison Cavani. I think Edison Cavani is amazing. Great striker. I think they were absolutely brilliant bringing him back. But now he's completely missing. He's gone. He hasn't really played much. And that's all because of Ronaldo. Ronaldo is completely handicapping the team from being able to show their true potential. And it's not just they have problems. They have more problems than just Ronaldo, but Ronaldo is a big problem for the youth in terms of handicapping the youth for the future. They also have midfield problems. I said I don't know who the new manager is going to be. I think the manager that they appoint, his first topic, his first deal of business is to figure out this Paul Pogba situation. He's on the last 6 months of his contract. He can completely walk away from the club for free. He can re-sign with the club. It's really going to be ultimately up to Paul Pogba and the board to talk about what's next. And personally, as much as and a great player as Paul Pogba is, I think it's best if the club agrees to part ways with him and tries to get, as much money and funds as they can back and sell him come January when the transfer window opens back up again. He's been, just a huge problem with that contract looming. If he stays, great. They have another world-class player to insert, but, he hasn't always been world-class in United. He's been very inconsistent, very, very just inconsistent, and only wants to, play when he feels like playing. And it's been a big red flag with Paul Pogba a lot of the times because of that. He doesn't always want to give his best. That's not the only issue they have. Like I said, as much as I loved what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did, spending $80 million on Harry Maguire for a center back because it was your biggest need was an absolute waste of money. Center back continues to still be the team's biggest weakness, continues to be this team's biggest flaw. They don't really have a great center back pairing. I love the signing that they did last. They did a couple of signings before the season. They got, like I mentioned, they got Jadon Sancho. They got Rafael Varane, who is a very extremely talented center back. And, and they signed a few other guys. But those are really the two big ones outside of Ronaldo. And you're signing all these guys, but they don't really fit together. You're kind of just signing them to sign them. And they signed Donny van de Beek, who is another guy who Ronaldo signing is taking minutes away from him, a very, very talented young Dutch player. So, you're signing all these guys, but the signings don't really make a lot of sense, and you're kind of just spending money to spend money. And a lot of that falls between Solskjaer and Ed Woodward, who is the CEO, who is getting up out of here. So the Woodwards are gone. The Glazers need to be next. All of them need to be gone too. But you can't just sign guys to a bunch of money and expect it to work. You have to, you have to process, okay, how does this guy fit our scheme? And that was one of the problems where I think, like I said, that while Solskjaer played a lot of young guys, he didn't really have a scheme, and he didn't really have a scheme fit. His tactics weren't perfect. He didn't really have any tactics. He kind of just, like I said, he kind of just bought players, threw them out there and hoped for the best, and kind of a learning experience, which is great. But when you're a big club like Manchester United and you're vying for Champions League trophies, you're vying for the Premier League title, you can't just throw guys out there and hope that it fits. You have to get guys to get and come in and fit your system. And that's where I think the Ronaldo signing kind of led to him being released, because Ronaldo wants to play a certain way, and he knows the way, and he knows what he's good at. And Solskjaer not really having tactics and not really being a tactics-driven manager kind of led to some tension. I feel between the two, and it kind of ultimately led to the split. And it was you have to pick one or the other. And obviously, just signing Ronaldo and Ronaldo being the kind of player he is, they're going to get rid of then they're going to sack the manager. So yeah, so they have to find somebody in the next 6 months or so, as in a trial period. They have to find somebody that's going to be able to insert some tactic. United currently signed Ralph Rangnick to a 6-month deal just to see how he goes to finish off the year. I think if he can insert some sort of tactic, Ralph Rangnick, insert some sort of tactic, have some structure within the club, find a way to get rid of Paul Pogba. He's not the only one that needs to go. I'll give a list of players that need to go here in a minute. But if he can insert some tactics, bring Manchester back to what they were of the glory days of inserting tactics, inserting players that fit well together. He just won his first appointed match as manager against Arsenal, where he's still new, so he's still figuring things out, but it looked ugly. He has to figure that out quickly. So I think if he does well and he puts Manchester United in a position to finish top 4 again and puts them in a Champions League position, I think he has a very good chance of continuing to be the Manchester United manager. But there's just so many problems within this team. Ronaldo being the biggest, in my opinion. Paul Pogba's contract situation being another one. Spending $80 million on Harry Maguire was an absolute giant mistake that they're stuck with now, but there's a lot of players still on the team that have to go. Let's start up front. I know I mentioned Anthony Martial earlier that didn't really get his chance. I'd be okay with him leaving. He hasn't really played. I'd love, as an Anthony Martial fan, I would love to see him go somewhere else and get the playing time that he deserves, maybe back in France. But he can go. If you're not going to do anything with Edison Cavani, please let Edison Cavani go be great back either in Argentina or the MLS or somewhere else. Go let Cavani be great. Dude is absolutely being wasted here on Manchester United. There's no point in keeping him. Jesse Lingard is another player for Manchester United that needs to go. He can go now. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. When he had that loan spell with West Ham last year, they should have just kept him. They should have bought him, figured out something. Don't need him. He's not good. He's 28 years old. He hasn't improved at all. He had a great spell in West Ham. Go let him be great at West Ham. Another player, like I said, trying to get money for Pogba. Nemanja Matic. At this point, I don't know why he's still playing. The dude is slow. Can't kick the ball forward anymore. It's just time for Nemanja Matic to retire. Fred. I was a big Fred fan when they first signed Fred from, when they first signed him out of Brazil. I was like, yeah, we're getting Fred. He's going to be doing big things. This dude cannot pass the ball forward if his life depended on it. This dude shoots with his eyes closed. I swear. This dude might be the worst midfielder I've ever seen play in the Premier League. I mean, that's a bit of a stretch, but this dude is absolutely terrible. He has cost Man United so many games because he's not fit for the Premier League style of football. It's a faster paced game with a lot more talent. I think he was brought on too soon. He wasn't ready, and now he can go because he's the other guy holding his team back. He's just absolutely terrible. Can't kick the ball forward, can't score. He can't really do anything right. Once in a while, he'll have a miracle game, and everybody's like, oh my God, look at Fred. No, Fred can go. Another player I can go, I said $80 million for Harry Maguire. I call him blockhead because he's a blockhead. He's slow. He's a good player. He's not $80 million great, but he's slow. He has a big head. That's why I call him blockhead. And he makes stupid decisions, which is also why I call him blockhead. So Harry Maguire can go. Fred can go. Paul Pogba can go. Nemanja Matic, you might as well get rid of him. He's old, slow, can't play anymore. Get rid of Edison Cavani, go let him be great. Get rid of Anthony Martial, let him go be great. If you're not going to use Danny Van de Beek, then please send him on loan. I would love for him to have good spells, and it's going to be very interesting. I say all these guys need to be sold. It's going to be very interesting to see what the new manager does, who he finds enjoyable to play. I'm hoping he kind of takes my side and plays the younger guys and mixes the older guys in there. Guys like Cavani, I'm hoping to get get more playing time. Hoping to see Van de Beek get more playing time. I think Anthony Martial is pretty much done at the club. It's pretty much a foregone conclusion. I hope he never plays Jesse Lingard. I hope if they can recoup $35 million for Harry Maguire, he's on his way out the door. Who's another guy? There's just so many problems, and it's not going to be fixed overnight, and I understand that. And a lot of the fans are going to have to understand that too. That's not going to be fixed overnight, but it's like there's so many issues, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did his best to try and fix it, but he just couldn't. And signing Cristiano Ronaldo, as great as everybody thinks it is, it was nothing more than a nostalgic act to bring him back to try and get fans' butts in the seats. That's really all it was. And, that's really all I have. This is kind of an unplanned episode. I wasn't really planning to do much. I didn't really know where the direction of this I wanted to go. Like I said, big content week. I gave you Manchester United today. This weekend, we're going to talk about college football and the crazy coaching carousel that's going on there. And Lincoln Riley to USC, Brian Kelly to LSU. Who, Notre Dame found their new coach. Who gets Oklahoma, or who goes to Oklahoma? What other jobs might be opening up? What other jobs have opened up? It's been a crazy coaching carousel in the college football world, and I will be back to talk about that. Also, this weekend or this week, either Sunday or Monday or whenever I get around to posting it, Spotify has given out their yearly lookout, your music lookout for Spotify. So I'm gonna come back with a video and we're gonna talk about that. There's one artist in particular. I am in the top 1% of all listeners. And so, yeah, we'll talk about that. And very potentially, if time allows it, we will get another bonus video in there to give you 4 videos this weekend, but count on 3 for sure. This plus 2 others. Potentially another video. I reiterated it much at first, but here again, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell to stay up with all the latest videos on my channel. Go back and watch the old videos. I do an interview with MLS star DeJuan Jones, who is in the running for MLS Defender of the Year. I do a meet and greet with WWE superstar Liv Morgan. I talk about mock drafts and how Kyle Trask didn't go as high as we had projected. And so many more videos. I talk WWE, I talk soccer, WWE, I talk NCAA football, basketball, I talk NFL football. I talk everything. I haven't really done too much NBA. I'll start getting into the NBA a little bit, but regular season NBA just doesn't do it for me. But, if you like sports and you like podcasts, then definitely check out the other 27 or the other 26 episodes in this. Not just those episodes, but there's also some bonus episodes in there. There's music. We talk about it all. So, yeah, make sure to go do all of that. I promised you guys a big content weekend. We're getting a big content weekend. This was just video number 1. As you know, I introduced myself in the beginning. I'm A-Train, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.